Am I being the a-hole for not trusting my boyfriend anymore after he lied to me? Content warning: pet endangerment, pet napping, gaslighting, toxic controlling, abusive family, harassment, homophobia. My dog is a little shit. IF35 love the booger, but my goodness. Last week, she got out of the backyard while I was busy cooking my BF's dinner for his birthday. My boyfriend, Mike, M40, let the dog out during this time and didn't stay out with the digging asshole. When I went to call her back in, she was nowhere to be found. I live in an active city on an active road and I naturally was worried about her, but my BF said she should be fine as we are well known in the neighborhood for our clockwork walks, and someone will see her and bring her back. I went out to look for her anyway but couldn't find her. I didn't find her for 48 hours and I was crying from the stress. She's been my dog for 7 years and I know it sounds odd to some, but she's my girl, my bestie, and I love her. I would sob worrying she was injured or worse on the side of the road. BF said he tried to track the microchip, but it for some reason wouldn't work and her leash had a tag on it with her location, but BF didn't put it on her because, as he explained, she was just going outside. I have a new neighbor, AF 30-something, Josie, and it turned out she had my dog. She found her tagless wandering her yard 3 doors down from me and didn't know her or me at all, so took her to the local vet who recognized my girl, and called me. So my dog was returned to me. I was overjoyed and was thanking Josie, profusely explaining how worried I was, and my BF audibly sighed from behind me and said, "Well, thank F that's over, she ruined my birthday with that stunt." When Josie saw him she looked confused but didn't say anything until I walked her out. She told me, "You might not believe me, but he told me last night that you don't have pets." I was confused by this and kind of didn't believe her, but it nagged at me, so I checked our doorbell cam footage and there it was clear as day. While I was out looking for my dog, Josie is showing him a photo and asking if he knew this dog, and he said no, that we don't have dogs, and suggested calling animal control. I woke my BF up as he was asleep by this point on the couch and questioned him about this, and he denied it, saying Josie is trying to stir up trouble. I have my dog, so things are going back to normal now. And he slipped in that he deserves a make-up day for his ruined birthday. When I told him about the footage, I could see him get really still and then he admitted to it. He said my dog is old, she's 8, so he was trying to spare me since she will probably die soon and he wants us to think about the future, not the past, and my dog is indicative of my past. I told him this made 0 sense to me. He saw me damn near fall apart worried about my dog, and now I can't so much as trust he didn't have anything more to do with her disappearing. He lost it by saying he just knew I would find a way to blame him for this and shouted, "You love that bitch more than you love me." I told him that he's a coward for lying and not being honest about clearly not liking my dog for the past year. Then I asked him to leave. He stared at me like, "You're really going to kick me out right now over a dog?" And I said absolutely, and he cussed me out and went to his place. I haven't read the texts he's been sending me, but it's been a lot of them. He's been gone 7 hours and I have 27 text notifications from him. He's talked to my brother, Blair, who called me to tell me I hurt Mike for caring more about an animal than him and not being able to just shut the F up, be an adult, and celebrate my BF's birthday. I'm confused because we've been together a bit over a year and I spoil the shit out of him. We met because of my dog, and he seemed to really adore her this entire time. My brother, though, doesn't much like me these days, so I can't really tell if he's right and I'm the AH or he and Mike are just an AH. Relevant comments. NTA. I'm not even a dog person, but he knew you were upset and heartbroken, and he decided for you that this was better for him. That's just a-hole behavior. Comment. I'm a little confused. You said he liked her? And what do you mean when you say he was good to you before? Is this a sudden change? Sorry, it was just that he was sweet. Really sweet. When we met he first went to her and pet her and complimented how cute she was and how well trained. His brother is a vet and he said that he loves dogs. He used to run me bathes, hike me up, come to events for me, and now he is like this. Update 1, 2 days later. After my post my BF showed up at my door the next day with flowers and dog treats. I didn't let him in but talked through my screen door. He said he had time to think and was ashamed of his behavior and very sorry. He explained that he had abandonment issues and got scared, and a friend put the idea in his head that I love my dog more than him. The friend, turns out, is my brother Blair. I told him I wasn't ready to deal with him yet and he asked why not, and I explained from my perspective everything sort of like my last post, and then added that he showed up without letting me know he was coming, and he didn't let me even speak, just launched into this grand apology. When I said I don't trust him right now he started crying, and I mean the ugly hysterical kind. He said this stemmed from his mother leaving the family. From what I know of the story, she walked out on him and his family when he was 13, and that I am his person and he loves me and just lost his mind a little. It's one mistake. I'm sorry. He kept saying it over and over, and maybe I am a broken person, but I didn't feel anything at the moment. I watched him crying and saying sorry and basically groveling, and I just wasn't having any of it. I said we need to talk, but I wasn't ready to have that talk at the moment and needed space. He begged me to let him in and only left when some neighbors came by to ask if everything was okay, and he just snapped and told them to F off and left. Not sure what I am even doing anymore or what I will do with him or my brother. For now I am just sitting on a local restaurant patio with my doggo sipping margaritas and trying not to cry. WTF. Relevant comments. So I am going to be a little mean and harsh here, and I apologize in advance for that, but I saw your first post before and this update just ain't shit right now. Not sure what I am even doing anymore or what I will do with him or my brother. What do you do with him? You leave him. This man lied to you and your neighborhood. God only knows what would have happened if your vet didn't recognize your dog to steer Josie back to talk to you again, or if you were not home and your, hopefully soon-to-be ex, told her again that you don't have animals. For that much, how sure are you that he doesn't harm your dog? He seems unstable and has resentment about her clearly. When I said I don't trust him right now, he started crying, and I mean the ugly hysterical kind. He said this stemmed from his mother leaving the family. From what I know of the story, she walked out on him and his family when he was 13, and that I am his person and he loves me and just lost his mind a little. This man is manipulating you. If he has trauma he can get therapy, but that doesn't excuse trying to get rid of your beloved pet and make the day about his stupid goddamn birthday. He doesn't treat you with respect and thinks flowers will fix it, and if not, guilting you by his sob story. God, I am so made for you and your dog right now, I can barely stand it. And please, for the love of all things holy, do not give her those treats. I would not trust that he didn't put something harmful in them to further endanger your girl. This guy sounds crazy enough to do it. So here's where I will be harsher. Baby girl, woman up and dump his ass. I have a sweet partner that I adore, but if he did this, I would kick him to several curbs and I would put him on blast about it so everyone we know is aware that he is an animal abuser who gaslights and disrespects women. Phew, I need a glass of wine after this. What a grade A D-head. I hope your next update will outline how you ditched him. You deserve better, and so does your dog. Sorry this was a little upsetting, but honestly not as harsh as I expected. LOL. If this is your harsh, I think you're likely a sweet person. I wanted to address at least some of your comments, but full disclosure, some really bothered me and I can't quite take that on yet, but I'm starting to agree with the folks in the comments that my BF is actually my ex, so here goes nothing, maximum effort. God only knows what would have happened if your vet didn't recognize your dog to steer Josie back to talk to you again, or if you were not home and you, hopefully soon to be ex, told her again that you don't have animals. I think about this a lot. Josie is a kind human and I now know that she's a lifelong dog lover and adopter. She just lost both her Labradors very suddenly, and my booger also loves her a lot and gets all excited anytime she walks by my house, which turns out is a lot as she walks to clear her head when her job gets too stressful. In my mind I have rolled every scenario of where my dog was and what happened to her the whole time I couldn't find her. My brain went in dark directions and I was a wreck, and my BF was just so dismissive of my concerns. I mean, she could have been run over by car, eaten something that could make her horribly sick, anything. Playing it back now, remembering all he said and did during this time. I just don't like this guy and I have a hard time ever trusting him again. I am getting to the vengeful part of my brain and I can't even start. Tequila is a hell of a thing and I think it's contributing to me wanting to do things I would never dream to do most of the time. As I sit here with my baby, my sweet girl, who looks at me with such unfiltered love and devotion, I can imagine trusting her with a man who cared so little about her that he would toss her to fate. And please, for the love of all things holy, do not give her those treats. I tossed them out. Like a dumpster out. I sadly had the same concern. I forgot to mention in my post, but he tried to call my dog over, and opened the door to give her the treats, so the box was opened when I opened the first door to speak to him. I have no way of knowing for sure if he wants to see her harmed, so I don't know what's in that box. So I tossed it. I need a glass of wine after this. Baby girl. Tequila. Trust me. LOL. Comment. No, hell no. You can't still be entertaining the idea of taking this guy back, right? And what the shit is with your brother? What is this guy's damage? Blair and I used to be close, but I am queer and came out over 5 years ago, and he also came out as a homophobe. I can't really get into it all because it is a lot, but suffice it to say, our relationship went downhill when his bigotry started to show. I guess that makes me an idiot because when he introduced me to my BF I should have been suspicious. He was so supportive of us and my BF was sweet and kind and never had a problem with my open queerness and never got insecure or weird about it. He came with me to Pride events and would post about it on social media. We wore matching rainbow outfits and the works. Now I don't trust it. Update 3 to 3 weeks later, 5 weeks after original post. Hi. It's your super messy friend with her super dick ex, not super dick in the fun sense. I don't really want to get into it, but I kinda need to vent to some of you. Most of you have been really helpful and insightful. Mike has been weaving the narrative that I am mentally ill. He knows I suffer from depression and PTSD, and for whatever reason he is saying I was a misdiagnosed schizophrenia. It was relentless. And Blair and Dad have been backing him. It got to the point that I had had enough and hired a lawyer. Cease and desists, and one restraining order. My father is such a psycho, long story, later, and Mike is back on my doorstep. He is now demanding that Booger is his dog too, and he has rights to her, and he is worried about her safety with such a mentally unstable parent, me, it seems. So I said, oh, did I mention this is all through the door cam? That I now have footage, again. Of him being the unstable one, and his weird manipulative threat on top of me having actual footage of him saying he doesn't even have a pet would debunk him. I don't know all of what happened because the feed was cut out, but it looks like the man lost his mind and dismantled my Ring cam. At least without my other cameras he did not know were then installed showing him doing so. Good thing I have a lawyer. Relevant comments. Messy. Please, save the disparaging comments for the venerable dog you named Booger. I mean no disrespect, I expect you to continue to use self-deprecating humor. Good thing I have a lawyer. That you say nothing about the lawyer, just that this is an asset, tells me you are nowhere close to mentally unstable. I assume you told your attorney precisely why he's an ex. Comment. Sounds like things are still messy and stressful, but it's good that you're taking steps to protect yourself with the lawyer and additional cameras. Hang in there, and keep us updated. Update 4, 1.5 weeks later, 7 weeks after original post. Has it even been 2 weeks? But now this. A single day after my last post, I was packing up for an impromptu trip Arya was taking me on, partly to help me relax and partly to get me the hell out of that damn house so my father, brother, and ex would not know where I was. As such, I got Booger to the groomers. We planned to be away a while and she was due anyway. I thought I was being a responsible dog mom. And I'm an idiot because I was so frazzled about everything else, I completely forgot to tell them that Mike is not permitted anymore to pick her up. So I go to run errands while Booger got her spa treatments. Don't you dare judge me, she deserves a spa treatment every once in a while. Being a couch potato is stressful, grueling work, you know, and when I return I am told by the front desk that your husband picked her up. I swear to you my voice simply stopped existing. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't speak. I just crumpled to the ground and sobbed. He knew the groomer, knew the staff. He would sometimes pick her up for me back when we were together, and I didn't protect my baby by preempting this. How could I have been so stupid? His life mission is getting rid of her. It should have been one of the first things I did. I removed him everywhere else, and I don't know I missed this. The staff had come around the desk to help me to a chair and I just wailed. I think I managed to say enough. The police were called and I could barely speak even to them. They asked if there was someone I could call, any family, and I cried more. I have no one. If anything my father and maybe brother would help Mike do this. I managed to think and call Arya and she was on her way, but it was then I looked at my phone. He had texted me. He actually texted me. Starting with, "Hi, baby," as if everything that happened in all this time was absolutely non-existent. He said not to worry. He has Booger as he picked her up for you. And he is cooking us dinner at his and I can pick her up after dinner. Then he ended it with, "Love you." It was so uneffing and believable I could only just show the cops. One of them asked if they can look through my chat history and I said yes and unlocked all the features and she did. I had forgotten all the abusive, manipulative, and awful things that moron texted me because the cop just pulled a colleague aside and showed him the screen a few times. I saw him look back at me a couple times and he left the building. When he returned he asked me if I had called the police about Mike before and I said yes. He went through all the times I called in and I confirmed and told him some of it verbally then. Arya arrived and she gave her own rendition of the situation and stuck it to them that we did everything we were supposed to do by calling them about this and we were told they would not help. If Booger is hurt she will raise an unholy inferno over their useless department. She started to take charge in the absence of my ability to and asked what they planned to do. They needed paperwork. Booger's papers are all in my name and the groomer is attached to the vet who provided the adoption and intake paperwork of Booger, which proved I was her sole owner legally. The police went to his home to get Booger and what I understand to have happened, because I was not there and was only told that the official story, Mike let them in, showed the dinner he made. He seemed confused and didn't understand why the police were involved. He made it out that we had a bad spat but we're working it out, but I am mentally unstable and heavily medicated and I told him of the groomer's appointment and asked him to pick my dog up. They asked where Booger was and he said he didn't have her anymore as my family picked her up so that he and I could have a private intimate night to make up and work on our relationship. I was home waiting and I had to deal with another cop coming by and asking me about my mental health and if I am a danger to myself or anyone because Mike said that he is concerned that I am unpredictable and abusive. Once again I showed the texts and some footage of it being the polar opposite and once again I explained that all of what I was showing him and more I've already turned over to the police. By now, I had reached my lawyer who advised me to answer any and all questions pertaining to this specific situation, getting my dog back, and nothing more, so I shut up and simply provided info necessary to this. They found Booger at Blair's but now Blair had his own story. That I was mentally unstable and unable to care for her, so I asked him to take Booger to a shelter as I didn't have the heart to do it myself. He couldn't provide any proof, so they took Booger with them and brought her home. Booger came for me immediately, straining against the leash to get to me, and I cried on my front step apologizing to her as if she understood what all just happened. But she was happy and excited. I bet she loved being in a cop cruiser. She just was happy to be alive as usual. The policewoman who handed me her leash gave us information on where to get the paperwork about today's events and said she cannot offer me legal advice but to be sure to lock everything up tonight and to call if anything happens. I did take Booger to the vet and the tests that have come back show she is perfectly fine. I've now packed up the majority of my house and what is not in storage has been moved to areas. I am working on preparing to sell it. I can't even imagine going back to that damn place. Mike left me a voicemail lamenting that I'd sicked the police on him when all he ever tried to do was love me. How patient he has been with my mental illness and my obsession with my mutt. But he now sees that my father was right. I don't deserve him. I will never find anyone like him who will love me because I don't deserve love. And when I realize what I've lost all due to my self-centered attitude, I better hope he hasn't moved on. But he's there if I ever decided to grow up and be a real woman and try to fix this with him. But he's not going to wait around forever. An emergency protective order was pushed through thanks to my lawyer. From Mike and Blair. Blair was stupid enough to blow up my phone after the police took Booger to berate me. I don't know what he said as I just forwarded everything to my lawyer, but either apparently was enough. My father lost it, I'm told, but I wouldn't know. He doesn't know where I am and has no way to reach me now. Mike is trying to reverse my domestic abuse complaints and say I am the one abusing him, and that's why he fled to his place. He maintains that I asked him to take Booger and Blair is backing him up. My lawyer says not to worry because no one is taking the claims seriously since we have so much overwhelming documentation of both of them harassing me. I've been at areas and we are taking the trip tomorrow. Booger is a road dog and loves car rides, so I know she will be very excited. The city we are going to is incredibly dog-friendly, so she will be with us every step of the way. I'm not letting her out of my sight. Aria helped me go through every bit of info and make sure Mike is removed from everything now. All Booger's appointments, all my medical paperwork, all package sign-offs, you name it. All mail and packages are being rerouted to areas and Mike doesn't know where that is. She has another home she rents out as an Airbnb, so once the current tenants are out, she is setting me up to stay there until I find a new job out of town and move. I'm just glad to have her with me right now because I haven't been able to sleep. I have barely been able to even be around food, let alone eat it. Booger was gone for maybe a total of 5 hours as a whole, but I swear to God it was like a lifetime. I've set virtual appointments with my counseling team and might need to get something to help me sleep. But last night Booger lopped up into the bed with me and just plopped down and snuggled beside me. I think she knows I am stressed and the only clear cure is cuddles. She's not entirely wrong. My mind is racing because what would have happened if I didn't already have a lawyer pushing the return of my dog along, or Aria who was speaking up for me when I was a useless blob on the floor crying and accomplishing absolutely nothing. I feel like a failure because it was the time for me to get things done and all I did was cry like a child. Booger deserves better than me. What if he had decided in those hours to just get rid of her or do worse to her? What was his whole plan? And why would Blair help him? I know he hates me, but Jesus Christ. All I know for now, if I am NC with all 3 of those bastards and by the time my protective order is up for review next month, new job or no, I will have yanked every root I placed down here and get the F out of here. Relevant comments. You are not an a-hole. Your ex's actions were manipulative and abusive. You did the right thing to protect yourself and your dog. Update 5, 4 days later, 8 weeks after original post. Mike, Blair, and Dad have stepped it up. In the past 3 days alone, this is what's happened. My father has posted in several groups on several social media pages a photo of me, asking if anyone has seen me as I have gone missing. He's put my medical information out there regarding my mental health and stretched the truth so hard I'm surprised he didn't pull a muscle. In his narrative I am off my meds, acting irrationally, and have now gone missing after attacking my brother. My lawyer has told me not to worry, and that she will have the police take care of it because he is violating his restraining order by doing this. I've been getting calls and texts from multiple numbers. The messages are mostly the same: I don't deserve love. WHR and I was raped, it was my fault. PR made up because who would want me? I need to take what I can get. I'm embarrassing, insane, unstable, need medications, and on and on. I know one of them was either sent by my dad or sent by my dad because his favorite insult was, "You're a waste of space and time." Came up more than once. He used to say that to me when I was growing up if I didn't do what he said or tried to change my look in any way. I would cry and then he would hit me and tell me that my mother was resilient and why can't I be? He'd call me weak and tell me crying is abusive to him because I was trying to emotionally manipulate him. He hurled it at me when he slapped me for coming out as bisexual, and I ended up apologizing to him for his emotional distress, because he said he couldn't believe my mother died to give me life just for me to waste it. Sorry, that was a vent. Should I pay you by the hour, Doc? My family on my dad's side have also been coming out of the woodworks to harass me and tell me how bad of a GF, sister, or daughter I am. Some have been fed distorted renditions of what actually happened. Blair told a cousin that I abused Booger and he tried to take her to keep her safe. My cousin didn't believe him because she knows Blair and Dad and how they treated me. She called me only to tell me what was happening, and she also sent me an email to forward to my lawyer. Yesterday I got another text telling me to end myself. I guess that was the breaking point for me because I was gasping for air, trying to keep myself upright, and Arya had sat me down and gotten me my anxiety medication to calm me down. It's unrelenting. I almost spiraled back into self-harm. Arya kept me company and we went to every stop on her itinerary for the day. I was able to breathe after a while. Between her and Booger, I was in good company. I got back to therapy tomorrow morning. I swear I am going to put my therapist on the Fortune 500 list with this laundry list of issues. Blair isn't permitted to talk to me, and neither is Mike or my father. But I keep worrying they will pop up somewhere. It's hard to even think this is all over an 8-year-old cuddle bug who literally doesn't have a bad bone on her wiggly body. Blair has never been this bad before, and it's not that long ago I thought Mike loved me and would never hurt me. I feel like I'm going as crazy as they are trying to make me out to be. I have no idea how to even go into work tomorrow like nothing happened. I already emailed our HR rep about the situation in case they try to pull some sort of stunt. I'm paranoid and keep looking around expecting them to be right behind me. All I can do is keep cuddling Booger, and hold fast to Arya and her partner Beth, who have been a dream. Good thing I didn't figure out how to add this to my last post, because now that it's written out, it's longer than I expected. Sorry. Relevant comments. You are going to get through this. You are strong and will get over this speed bump. It's a matter of perspective. They are trying their best to break you. You know it, we all know it. Don't let them win. I know it's easier said than done. But since you know their end game, it should take their power away. How pathetic are they? Anyone who knows you would know that they are lying. Anyone that would believe them isn't someone you should even care about. Just take it one day at a time, and it may be a good idea to take a social media break. Reddit doesn't count because it's anonymous. Good luck, girly. You got this. Comment. I'm sorry you have to go through this. Please stop reading these nasty messages, just delete whatever is sent from unknown numbers. They can't be used in court anyway, and they obviously do you no good. Stay strong.